handling data, examining Venn diagrams. What is it? A way of sorting data according to different features. Why? Can help with categorizing or ordering information. Interesting fact, female elephants are called cows. They start to have calves when they are 12 years old, and elephants are pregnant for 22 months. So let's talk about the steps. Step 1, write down examples of each category. Step 2, separate the sections of the Venn diagram. So we have the Venn diagram there on your right with now we have to examine it and see and answer these questions. So example 1, the first question, how many multiples of 4 are there? First things first, let's go ahead and write down the multiples of 4 and multiples of 6 just to be sure. And next step, we're going to go ahead and highlight multiples of 4 since that is the key word in that question. So everything in that circle that is green is a multiple of 4. So let's go ahead and write them down. And now we have, and if you count them, you know that there are 4 numbers, and that is your answer. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the second question, or part 2 of that question of example 1. And now we're going to see how many multiples of 6 are there in the diagram. So in this particular example, we're going to highlight the right side of multiples of 6, and we're going to write down each one that is inside the circle. And if you count them, there are only 5 numbers, and there we go. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the last question. How many of multiples of 4 and 6 are in the diagram? So let's take a look. So you can see the multiples of 4 are green, the multiples of 6 are orange. And now if you combine orange and green, you're going to get some type, maybe if you can figure it out from the question, you are going to get brown. Okay, so now we're going to look at that brown section, the one that they are shared, and then those two, we're going to write those 2 numbers down. And since there's only 2 numbers, that is your final answer. And now let's move on to example number 2. So here is the Venn diagram. We have 3 circles this time. So this time we're going to take a look at, there's not much to write down of examples for each category. So let's go ahead and start with the first question. How many people like hamburgers? So I'm going to highlight hamburgers. We're going to highlight the whole circle. So in that particular example, now we're going to go ahead and write down each one, and we're going to add them up. And then when we add them up, we get 13. So 13 is your final answer and now we're going to move on to the next question. How many people only like hot dogs? Only is the key word there. So we're going to highlight hot dogs and only the section that doesn't have anything else shared. So if we can see, the number 2 is, there's only 2, and that is your answer. Now let's take a look at how many people like hamburgers and pizza. So this particular example, we're going to highlight hamburgers as red, pizza as yellow. What color does red and yellow make? Do you know? Maybe you can figure it out on the screen, and you get orange. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and count both sections that are orange. So we're going to count 5 plus 6, which gives me 11, and there's 11 people who like hamburgers and pizza. Now the last question we're going to talk about is how many people like hamburgers, hot dogs, and pizza. So we're going to go ahead and highlight every single circle. Hamburgers as red, hot dogs as blue, pizza as yellow. Okay, and if we combine all those colors, we're actually going to get black. So, and then since it's all 3, it's going to be the middle, and my final answer is going to be 6 people like hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza. So let's take a look at this example. Now it's your turn, rather, and this is part 1 of your turn. So go ahead and pause the video, and so you can take your time to do the question. I'm going to go ahead and show you the answers in 3, 2, and 1. So here are the answers. If you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there's always tomorrow. Now let's go ahead and do part 2 of the Venn diagram questions. So go ahead and pause the video so you can take your time to do it. And then you can, so I'm going to show you the answers in 3, 2, and 1. Here are the answers. If you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there's always tomorrow.